Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Do Bonsai and part 2 of the Fruity Bonsai series. Before we get started with the orange trees, I'd just like to introduce 3 new bonsai trees that have made their way to us. We have a Japanese holly, we have a Japanese pepper and a variegated sarissa. They're all quite interesting. They've all got lots of nice new shiny leaf, tiny growth coming out on all of them, so we'll let them sit and get established. But you know, looking into the structure, there's a lot of old growth in there that's a little bit strange and a little bit weird for us, but they're not bad, they're nice. So we'll be working on these going forward. I just wanted to introduce them, but now let's get on with the orange trees. So this is the larger of the 2 orange trees that we were working with. We defoliated it and left it as just a couple of branches, and you'll see that it's grown back in. It's doing quite nicely. The new leaves up towards the top are nice and green. We've got some leaves that are going a bit yellow around the back, and they're a bit dirty where we had some of them flies, which we've managed to get rid of, but obviously they've left their secretions here on the leaves. But it's done really well. It's pushed out a lot of nice new growth. That seems to be slowing down at the moment, but yeah, no, it looks nice and strong. It probably just wants a few of these leaves that are a little bit damaged and a little bit, you know, not so nice, taken away so that the leaves underneath can get more of the light. So let's get it into position and let's see what work we can do on it. So we're looking in at our orange tree now, and you can see a few of the leaves have snapped up a little bit. That one's got some spider webbing underneath it, some sort of spider nest, so we'll just move that somewhere else. Spiders are our friends, but we're probably going to be taking a lot of this tree. We're probably going to be removing some of the leaves, etc., and possibly that one that's looking a little bit damaged, to allow some light underneath. But what we need to do is just have a quick look at these leaves that have become dirty with the sap, and I have some makeup remover pads here that I've borrowed from the wife, and we'll just soak them into a bit of rainwater, and then if we take them to the leaf, we can try and just wipe the leaf and make it nice and clean, and it comes straight off. So although it's yellowing ever so slightly, cleaning these leaves off will help them do a little bit better. We just need to get as much of that horrible sapness off as possible. And you can see there that it's coming off onto the remover pad, which can only be good for the tree. So we'll just wipe off as many of the leaves that we can see a bit of dirt on. We did manage to get rid of the flies and things that were invading the fruit trees. It's amazing how this time of year you bring them in, you put them into something, you know, a nice sunny position, and whilst the tree's growing and everything's doing well, you get the infestation of the flies as well. They come at the same time, as if, you know, they're living in the soil or whatever, and their larvae hatch and the flies come out at exactly the same time. So we'll just continue to clean up the tree, and then we'll just make some decisions as to which leaves we will remove and which ones we will keep, just to allow the tree to keep growing, but growing strongly. We don't want to remove too much. And just an exciting thing that I've just noticed here, we've had no flowers on this tree at all, and then we've got a little flower bud there waiting to continue to swell up and then pop. That's really exciting. I hadn't seen any suggestion of that on this tree. And then just turning that round and looking into the inside, we've got some really nice things going on and a little bit of flowering. Oh, and there's another one down here as well. So absolutely brilliant. We've got remnants of some flies and things, which will just soak another remover and just make our way inside the tree and just hopefully take away the remnants of those flies. Although they are dead, we don't really want them sitting on the leaves and on the tree. It's stopping the leaves from doing what they're meant to do. But no, I'm quite happy with that. I was not expecting to see any flowering. With the lemon tree doing so well and the flowering that's on that now, it must have 20 or 30 flowers on the lemon tree. And this orange tree it was putting out all this lovely new green growth, but we just weren't getting anything in the way of flowers or budding. And to now see it, that's really exciting. So we're just knocking off all the remnants of the dead flies, as well as making good with the dirt on the leaves. My intention was to remove a number of leaves to allow the light to get in, but having seen the fact that we're now getting some flowers even in amongst the leaves, the fact that it's in the tent and the light is reflecting off the sides, I'm thinking that I'm going to just leave the leaves as they are, leave the leaves, and allow it to carry on growing. All this new growth at the top here, which finishes there just at the top of the shot, that's come out really nice and it is doing, really well also. So I think it's just a case of letting it go through the autumn, letting it go through the spring, and then after summer's finished, we'll see what growth we've got and do some nice pruning and make some proper decisions when we can see what we've really got. So after saying that we were going to take it apart a bit, seeing that we've got those lovely flowers coming through, we might get some more on other areas that we would have possibly pruned away. So we will literally give it a water, soak that soil through, and we'll allow the tree to carry on in the great form that it's doing at the moment. I don't want to tempt fate and start chopping it apart. We will do that at some stage, maybe more towards the end of summer, as the leaves are dying away. A lot of these lower ones will come, and some of the higher branching will be taken away, but I don't want to do any selection at this moment in time. It's been just over a year since we worked on this tree, so to allow it to go through this spring and summer will be good for this tree, I believe. Let it fully recover and put a lot of strength and energy back into the tree. So here's the smaller orange tree, which has been doing really well, but with the fly and bug situation, some of these leaves have just shriveled up ever so slightly, and they've not continued to do well over the last week or so. So we'll just give the leaves a bit of a wipe so that they can absorb some moisture directly, and we'll be giving them a little bit of a clean just to help tidying them up. And the leaves are rather big for the size of the tree, but that's okay for now. But along this top branch, the leaves are drying up and not looking too happy with themselves, and some of the new growth that was coming out of the top, this part here is continuing, but this part here has shriveled up ever so slightly. So we'll make sure that there's plenty of moisture in the pot to feed the tree, and we'll also make sure that we give a bit of a spray up to this top area, as well as this, you know, little bit of a leaf clean, and adding a bit of moisture up to this top area. So it grew back in quite nicely. It put a bit of extra growth up there. It has died back up this top end here, and then those leaves that were on there, they've actually died back and fallen off. So we are looking at hopefully this new leaves etc. that have come out here. We're looking at them or that to try and carry on a branch. If not, we'll be bringing it back even further anyway, so it's not too much of a problem. But it's just a bit of a shame that the new branching was coming out, the new leaves etc., and it was all looking really nice, but then obviously treating it for the infestation that we had with the green fly etc. has caused the tree to not do so well at this moment. But I mean, even if it dies back, we'll continue to grow the main flowing trunks, and you know, it's got a long way to go. It's only probably about 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old. We'll be repotting it probably towards the end of summer, after it's done all its growing. We won't do a major amount of root pruning unless we need to take off some major roots, but we'll get it out of this potting soil and into some nice bonsai soil, but that'll be later towards the end of the summer. So here we are. It's nice and green, it's relatively happy, but we do have this bit of an issue up this branch here. It should still be getting fed because we haven't taken any roots off etc. If it continues to die back and not do so well up this top end, we'll probably remove the top side and repot it into some newer soil sooner, but I'm hoping not to agitate the roots until we really need to. The soil is it's holding a bit of water, it's damp, it's not wet, so there is plenty of moisture going on in there. So we'll just add a little bit more to be able to put it back into the tent so it can continue to try and develop and do well. So that's it for the orange trees. Not too much to report, nothing too exciting. I will try and get hold of some seeds. We've always got oranges in the fruit bowl, so I'll probably do a little bit of something, taking them apart and seeing if I can fish out some seeds and seeing if we can do the same as we did with the lemons. I'm not aiming to have like a bleeding lemon tree farm and an orange farm. If we get 2 or 3 babies growing up from the seeds that we get, then that'll be good, and we can maybe do a couple of 3 different designs with the fruit trees. So we could have one in, you know, whatever style we want, and then another style and another style, but we can make those decisions as we go forward. So before I go, these are the cherry that I picked the seeds up maybe 2 years ago now. We did have Kevin at the time, and I've got the video, I think, of the day that we were out for a walk just nearby, and there were a lot of the cherry seeds just laid on the ground, and I was just picking them up as we were walking around. I didn't expect too much from them, and we potted them, or I potted them into this tray, and they went through last winter. Nothing happened, but I kept them out there through the summer, through the autumn, and back into this winter this year. And I've got a row of these little propagating units, and I noticed this one had a couple of leaves poking out, and I was like, oh, look at that. And so I picked it up and gave it some more water, and I thought, well, I'll bring it in and put it in the tent and see what we get. And every day another shoot was coming up, another shoot, and then another shoot, and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. You know, how brilliant is this? So never give up on your seeds. You know, stick them outside in a seed tray or a little propagation set like this, and let them go through a couple of seasons, you know, into the spring, summer, autumn and winter, and then again, and then let it roll through again. If they haven't sprouted after 2 or 3 times of going through winter for the stratification process, then maybe they're not going to grow. But you know, these were left out there once and nothing happened, but I didn't give up on them and gave them another full year to go through. And look at what we've got. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 that are growing and doing well. There is another one that it started to grow, it didn't shed its husk, and it's fallen over, it's died. But look at that, 14. So part 3 is going to be potting on of the cherries. So join me for that in part 3. We'll be in the greenhouse because we'll have a bit more space to make a bit more mess, and we'll get these planted on. But for now, have the best of the rest of your day, make the most of it, you know, go out, be nice to others, the animals and the planet, and I'll see you again very soon for more bonsai work here at Let's Do Bonsai.